Hey there, it's Mrs. Lohoff here. I am helping you get ready for the Mastery Check, the first Mastery Check in Module 5, Lesson 5.6, Multiplying with Fractions. Now, up to this point, we have practiced a lot of different skills on how to look at multiplying fractions. We've actually even looked at what seemed like dividing when it was really repeated addition with fractions. Lots of different things. We've looked at the arrays and how those cover each other, and we've learned the shortcut for multiplying fractions. All of that is going to be something you really need to be ready for this mastery check. So make sure you stay tuned all the way through this video. I'm going through different kinds of problems that you're going to see on the mastery check. So make sure you know how to work these on your own to the best of your ability so that you are prepared. Let me get myself over here. All right, first question. A rope that is 7 feet long was cut into 3 equal pieces. This diagram models how to find the length of each piece of rope. Which multiplication equation models this situation? This is something we did in one of the first lessons for Module 5, and it's tricky. It is really, I told you then, I'm telling you again, this is complicated stuff. You need to look at this picture and just sit back for a minute and see what you notice. Are you noticing letters? Are you noticing lines separating different groups? Are you noticing smaller groups that are separated? All right. We need to look at what we're seeing and then come up with the solution. All right, a rope that is 7 feet long. And if I look at the number of groups here, let me get my pen. I do see a group of 7. I see this one. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Come on. So frustrating. Come on. Okay, this is the one I wanted. Come on. There we go. I have 1 group here, 2 groups here, 3 groups here, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we need 7 feet of rope. And the rope is cut into 3 equal pieces. Well, I see those longer lines here. Here's one, and here's one. So this gives us 1 section, 2 sections, 3 sections. How are we going to find the length of each rope? I also see 3 letters. I see A, B, and C. Oh, it's starting to make sense. I'm starting to think about things here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. This is 3/3. And 1, 2, 3. This is 3/3. And this is 1/3. So this one part of rope that was cut from the 7 foot long. We have the long 7 foot long rope. It's cut into 3. Each section is going to be 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 1/3. That's 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 1 more is 7. So 7/3. This section right here is 7/3 of a foot. All right, so this is 7/3, this is 7/3, this is 7/3. So 7/3 plus 7/3 plus 7/3. That's repeated addition. We added them 3 times, so that's 3 times 7/3. And the only one that has that as an option is letter D. So hopefully you picked that one too. You have to look at what they're showing you, and you have to start finding the groups and counting them and figuring out what the portioning is. So we figured out the length of each piece of rope, and then we knew that we had 3 pieces of rope. All right, that is something similar to that will be in the mastery check. This is a completely different kind of question. Let me move myself here again. Nick spent 3 hours writing a report. Evan spent 5/8 as long as Nick on the same assignment. How long did Evan spend writing his report? Well, 3 hours times 5/8. What is 5/8 of 3? 3 is the same as 3 over 1, if that helps you with multiplying. Or if you remember that you multiply 3 times the top of a fraction. Either way, 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 8 is 8. Oh, we have an improper fraction alert. The top number is bigger than the bottom. We need to figure out how many hours Evan spent writing his report. 15/8 of an hour is more than 1. For every hour, I need 8. So there's 1 hour. And I have 15 total. Well, that means I'm going to have 7/8 here. Because 8/8 plus 7/8 is 15/8. So we have 1 and 7/8 of an hour. So that's how long Evan spent. Nick spent 3 hours. Evan spent 1 and 7/8 of an hour. Let me write that as a nice answer that you would put into your mastery check. 1 and then a space, 7/8, 1 and 7/8 hour. Let's look at a different type of example. This is another, remember I told you, stay with me all the way through because each problem I'm going through is a different type of problem. This is the overlay. When we take one, we drew out one fraction, we drew out a different fractions, we laid them on top of each other, and we found the part that they shared. That's where this is coming from. 1/5 of Aisha's shirts are red. 2/3 of Aisha's red shirts have long sleeves. This model represents the fraction of Aisha's shirts that are red and have long sleeves. What fraction is it representing? So you can see we had 1/5, and if I look here, this side is divided into fifths. And the top is divided into thirds. This portion that's colored purple is where 1/5 overlaps with 2/3. If I did it with my highlighter and I marked 1/5, that would be this section. And then if I took a different colored highlighter to mark 2/3, that would be this section. So the part that they overlap was that highlighted part right here. What fraction does that represent? Well, we can count, or I can multiply too, but first we'll count. I have 2 that are colored in. 2 out of how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 2/15 of Aisha's shirts are both red and long sleeved. Now I could get 15 by realizing that I have 5 rows and 3 columns, and 5 times 3 is 15. Or I can, whatever way I choose, what I see here is 2 purple shaded in shapes out of 15. And that's our answer, 2/15. All right, I have one more here. What is the area of a rectangle with side lengths of 5/6 of a centimeter and 4/7 centimeter? When we figure out the area of a rectangle, we take the length times the width. So we have 2 measurements here, 5/6 times 4/7. I'm going to do it 2 ways. The first way I'm going to do it where I don't cross off these numbers because I've found common factors. I'm going to do it straight multiplication. So 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 7, yeah, I heard it, is 42. All right, am I done? Nope. Nope, you got to think about common factors. We need simplest terms. 20 is an even number, and so is 42. So we can divide by 2. And then we'll take another look at that number. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 42 divided by 2 is 21. 10 is even, 21 is not. I can't divide, 21 is 3 times 7 is 21, and I can't divide 10 by either of those numbers. So here is the area of the rectangle in simplest terms. All right, I believe that. Oh, and I'm going to show it the other way. All right, so now let's look. Whoops, there's the eraser. I'm struggling with these Canva tools here today. So now, if I have 5/6 times 4/7, I can look at the diagonal facts, like the numerator of this fraction and the denominator, 5 and 7. Do they have a common factor? Can I divide them both by the same number? No. Well, let's look at the other diagonal pair. The denominator of this and the numerator of this one, 6 and 4. Oh, hey, they're both even. I can divide them both by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now let's multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 7 is 21. Same answer. We either find our factors before we multiply, so we don't have to simplify at the end, or we multiply across and simplify. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. Good luck on the mastery check. Remember, if you're not happy with your score, you can always do corrections. If you choose to do corrections, please label your emails to me with the mastery check number. This is 5.6. It makes my life so much easier because people are turning in mastery checks from the beginning of the semester, and that's fine. All right, good luck. See you next time. Bye.